It's King Day 2021, and hopefully you're making it a day on and not a day off. I'm Andrea Williams from Jammin 98.3. Today is R&B and old school. We are celebrating the National King Day of Service, honoring the life and legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Becoming the Change is brought to you by UW-Madison All of Us Research Program at the Center for Community Engagement in Milwaukee and Milwaukee Health Services Incorporated, where your health is their business. The Isaac Cogg's Heritage Health Center is located at 8200 West Silver Spring Drive, and the MLK Heritage Health Center is located at 2555 North Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. My final guest for today serves as the Chief Medical Officer at Milwaukee Health Services Incorporated, Dr. Aronica Williams. How are you, Dr. Williams?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for your time today, and happy King Day, of course.
Awesome. Right back at you. Happy King Day.
Thank you. You are a native of Milwaukee and a product of Milwaukee Public Schools. So I just want to know off the bat, did you grow up knowing you wanted to be a doctor?
Well, not initially. I knew that I wanted to have a life dedicated to service. So my parents are educators, but I had a well-rounded childhood. So I was into music, and actually, so my degree is in music. I initially knew that I wanted to go into a science field. I thought that that was going to be engineering. However, having an opportunity for underrepresented minorities through the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee College of Nursing Bridge Program, Sandra Underwood created an opportunity for high school students who are interested in pursuing health careers. And so after that experience, I knew I wanted to become a physician, and here I am.
Oh, wow. I love that. It gives you the chill bump effect because you just realize how much talent people that are walking around serving our community have. You attended Loyola University in New Orleans and got your BA in music. And then you went on to medical school at the University of Illinois, Chicago. So it's safe to say you are our ancestors' dream, right?
I hope to be.
Yes, the pandemic, needless to say, has reared its ugly head and put a spotlight on the many health disparities that exist in the African American community and many other communities that are underserved across America. So I just want you to talk a little bit about what it's been like for you under these circumstances to be there to serve those who are not only some without insurance, but some who are underinsured.
Absolutely. Well, the interesting thing is the pandemic continued to shed light on things that we've already known, right? So we know that Black and Brown communities have been hit hard by conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney disease, different lung diseases, those types of things. And so the pandemic compounded that because it is, in fact, individuals with those conditions that were hit harder and more affected by COVID-19. And so when I think of what it's been like serving in this capacity, it really just kind of highlights and shines a light on what committed folks who are really engaged in urban underserved medicine are here to do. And so really it was more of a rolling our shirt sleeves up even further to dig into the work that we're already doing. And so really being at the forefront of educating our patients, really being a voice for people who otherwise would not have a voice, and continuing to serve in the capacity of providing exemplary health care to patients who are underserved, uninsured, and from underrepresented minorities. And so really, this is what we were born to do. This is what we've been doing over 30 years at Milwaukee Health Services. And so again, this is really just another facet of the work that we do every day. Yes, it's been challenging because, again, how to advise patients to maintain their own safety as well as the safety of others, but how to do that in the midst of chronic diseases, right? So trying to mitigate the risk of, hey, we want you to stay home, but yet we don't want this disease process to worsen. So again, it's all of that in one mixed bag. And so again, not treating anyone the same and looking at things on a case-by-case basis, but really, just trying to make sure that we're still doing the work that we are uniquely called to do, making sure people's blood pressures are down, their blood sugar levels are controlled, so they're not at risk for those normal things, heart attack, stroke, those types of things that continue to plague our community in the midst of COVID-19 and being hit hard. So again, it's been a challenging time, but it really just kind of highlights the work that we do on an everyday basis.
Absolutely. And we know that Dr. King fought for equality and justice for all. So you just kind of talked about some of the services that you are able to provide to the community on a daily basis. But I think it's important to also mention that you guys have been doing the COVID testing as a federally qualified community health center. And then you have podiatry, family doctors, giving out Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners. You are serving the community in so many facets that I think it's important to remind people that you are going beyond just health. You are making sure that people are okay on every level. So that in itself is a blessing. And it's pretty special that the King Heritage Health Center is right there on King Drive. So does that factor into you or have a special meaning each day that you drive into work?
Well, absolutely, because we're in the heart of the community. So one of the things which is a tenet of federally qualified health centers is that they are purposefully positioned in areas of need. And so to have the Martin Luther King Heritage Health Center and that namesake for Dr. Martin Luther King is definitely pivotal. It continues to reinvigorate purpose. I think that being in the heart of the community is definitely needed. And it's just so very interesting that it is, church folks say, this is hallowed ground, you know what I mean? And so we know, and the community knows that we're doing great work. And so people trust us. We are those trusted voices when it comes to healthcare, and regardless of what the condition is, but especially even in the wake of the new COVID vaccines and those types of things, people are looking to us as those trusted voices because we've been those trusted voices for so long. And I think, having the name of Dr. Martin Luther King, again, it continues to invigorate us to be the change, to find new ways to serve the community, to not look at what we've always done, but trying to tweak it. So one of the things that you mentioned is, we've done the holiday giveaways around the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays for years. And usually the line is wrapped around the corner. And this year or last year in 2020, it was no different, but it just needed to have a different twist. So people were in their cars. And then when, for people who didn't drive, we delivered the packages to their homes as much as possible, but looking at key ways to still impact the community, much like what Dr. King talked about, the difference of, having a dream that, there would be a difference for those who come after us. And I think we have a key responsibility to make life better for those who come after us. And so, although, of course, I was thinking about his Dr. King's speech, the I Have a Dream speech, and, I couldn't help but have pause for thought because again, with respect to a lot of societal and social change and unrest that's going on right now, there's still work to do. And I think that if nothing else, we should be, primed and positioned for the work that the community needs, that our ancestors continue to fight for, that we continue to fight for, to make life better for those that we encounter on a daily basis and for our children.
Yeah, and when we talk about becoming the change, Milwaukee Health Services Incorporated is not only focused, like I said earlier, on health, but you are committed to removing barriers and improving health outcomes to promote quality of life and reduce the disparities that we hear about each and every day among racial and ethnic communities. So this is a great time to thank you all for the hard work that you do, and I think this is a great way to wrap up. You telling us what Dr. King's dream means to you, Dr. Aronica Williams.
Well, I think, his dream to me means that although we have definitely made some progress, there is more work to do. You can't get tired or weary in well doing because we will reap if we faint not. Again, I think that we have a rich history in our community of collective work and upward mobility. And I think that that needs to be what we focus on right now. I think that we need to do what we can, when we can, while we can. And so definitely that is what his dream kind of empowers me to do. As I mentioned before, there is pause for thought because, again, right now we are in some troubling times, societal, but at the same time, we've never shied away from hard work as a people. And I think that, we know what to do and how to do it. We just really need to bear down and do it together. And so I'm reminded of the work that our ancestors have done. And because we stand on the shoulders of giants, we know that we are primed for this work. And it's very doable work if we just really do it together.
That's right. Together is the key word. Thank you so much for your time today. And please give our regards to your president and CEO, Dr. Tito Izzard, and everyone there at Milwaukee Health Services. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Dr. Aronica Williams, again, she is the chief medical officer at Milwaukee Health Services Incorporated. And we thank all of you for joining us today as we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Not only was he an activist committed to peace, justice, and equality, as a visionary leader of the civil rights movement, he fought for racial and economic justice for the oppressed. We continue to be moved and inspired by Dr. King and his dream for a better tomorrow. We must keep moving in his honor, for it was Dr. King that said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving. Whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Continue to be the change, Milwaukee. A huge thank you again to our sponsors, Milwaukee Health Services Incorporated and UW-Madison, all of us research at the Center for Community Engagement in Milwaukee. I'm Andrea Williams. Happy King Day to you from all of us here at Jammin 98.3, and thank you for tuning in.